like in Fulton County.
Well, I love all of that. And I love how, you said just a minute ago, basically, in so many words that you don't have time to waste. You're not
No,
wasting any time. You mean business.
yeah,
But if I had to guess, I would say there's a main reason for why you mean business and why you don't have any time to waste.
right.
Talk about that.
So about 9 years ago, and I was healthy as any other guy in the world. Worked out 3 days a week. Um, you know, didn't drink a lot. Didn't do any of those crazy things. And all of a sudden, I got sick. And I got very sick.
What did that feel like? What was that sick? If somebody's listening, what would they be looking out for?
So for most men, we feel like there's a part of us that we're Superman. We feel like even if we get shot, we can take that bullet, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's something about being a man. It's,
Yeah.
it's, it's power in the word man. And when we get sick, a lot of times the women would say, oh, he's such a baby when he gets sick, because it's like our kryptonite when we go down. So what happened to me was, out of the blue, I had liver and kidney failure.
Out
Never
of
really,
nowhere.
never really been sick before in my life. And
How did you know it? Did you just get real tired? Were you like,
so I was at the casino in Birmingham
okay, here we go.
with my mom. My mom's 80 years old. She just passed
She
away.
did, Miss
Her,
Barbara.
yeah, her favorite pastime was playing the slot machine. So every now and then I would drive her to the casino out of my schedule to make sure she had her thing. And she was on a walker. Once I get her situated, I would go get her a coffee. It was like a routine.
Right.
And I let her be because she would win. And she was like, I'm going to buy you dinner. So that's the deal.
Okay.
And I remember going to the restroom, and I'm standing at the stall to urinate, and I look, and my urine came out looking like Coca-Cola. And I was like, wow, what did I
That's
eat?
crazy.
What did I
Right.
eat?
Right.
And I didn't really think too much of it because I knew I had my annual physical the next day. But I was a little concerned. So I got my mom back to Atlanta and got her settled in, went to the doctor, did my physical. They said for a person who's almost 50, you got the body of a 25-year-old. They checked my
I
blood.
mean, really, you had to throw that in.
Well, I had to because I had guns then. My whole body's changed now. Um, they checked my blood, but they didn't check my urine, because now, for men, you have to request for them to check your urine. Uh, that's not automatic anymore. And so I went home and I caught this high temp, had this fever, and I went back and I said, "You checked my blood, but you didn't check my urine." So they gave me the cup. They looked at the color of the cup. They was like, "You need to come to ER." So I walked in the ER, and next thing you know, they was running more tests, more tests. Now, when I went in, I could bench press 240 pounds. By the seventh day, I was struggling picking my cell phone up over my head. That's how quickly my body
Was
declined.
deteriorating.
My
Wow.
skin turned as black as this. My eyes were fluorescent. My eyes were this color. Yeah,
Of that yellow.
yeah.
And
Later,
if you're just tuning in, guys, listening, really 1100 AM or Instagram, Facebook, we've got David Manuel, director of FACE, Fulton County Arts. And he is talking about his journey into this space. But now he's talking about how he had basically his life was saved and how he's changing other people's lives through organ donorship. Go ahead,
right.
David.
So, and then later, my son saw me and he was like, "Dad, I'm not trying to be funny, but you look like a mutant by the eyes," because they were just that yellow.
So
And
so jaundiced.
yeah, yeah,
Sheesh.
Junda's on fleet. Okay, I mean it was
People
Junda's
don't say
time
that anymore,
100.
but okay, go ahead.
I know I'm old
It's
school.
not cool.
So anyway, so after running a lot of tests, they started figuring out it's his liver that's failing. Then it was like, no, it's his kidneys failing. No, it's both. And my body just kept declining, and then it started swelling up, um, and then it started, you know, getting smaller. So I went from 217 to 240, and then I went from 240 to 150
In weight.
in weight.
Over a 7-day period?
No, not a 7 day
Oh,
period.
okay.
Really?
Well, no, because you said 7 days a minute ago, and I was like, dang, this all happened in 7 days. This is like,
Where's your helmet?
this is a great.
Where's your helmet? Put it back on. So anyway.
Over how long was that, jerk?
So I was in ICU for 40 days.
Okay, so we're 40 days.
For 40
Sheesh.
days.
That's still fast. That's a
Um,
lot. Okay.
Around the 35th day, you know how doctors get together, they talk outside
Yeah.
the room, but
Yeah.
I could hear them. and they were debating on how many days I had left to live. One doctor said I give him 5 days, and by that time, nurses was coming in. They was coming in every hour and hour, shooting me in my stomach with a
Sheesh.
needle. I had to take 40 pills a day. I was on dialysis, all the stuff, tubes everywhere, and my body was shutting down. It was preparing to die. And I remember, they coming in saying, "Would you like to be on the transplant list?" And your body's shutting down. You'll be on any list. Yeah, sign me up, sign me up. And so, you know, I signed on that, and I remember saying goodbye to my boys, apologizing to them, telling them, "I'm sorry, I'm not gonna see you graduate from college. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be at your wedding. I didn't know I was gonna get dealt this hand, but I apologize." And and they was taking it all in the best way they could.
How
And I,
was your wife handling that?
well, she wasn't my wife then; she was my girlfriend. And so right before that, I gave her a ring while I'm in ICU. I gave her a ring. I proposed to her. Now I got tubes everywhere, and nurses was in there crying. And I gave her a ring, and then about an hour later, I signed to be on the transplant list. And then I remember laying in bed because I couldn't move. And you know how you laying and you can't move, but you're looking at the lights because that's all you can see. And if you look at them long enough, the fluorescent lights kind of illuminate the whole room.
Right. Yeah.
And that was my opportunity, or it felt like my opportunity to talk to God. And I remember praying, "God, I'm not ready to go. I'm not ready to stop being a father. I'm not ready to stop being a community activist, but I'm in so much pain. And I don't never give up on anything. I'm in so much pain that if you say this is my time, I will accept it." And I promise you, maybe an hour, 2 hours later, I heard this loud noise. And I remember the nurse coming in tears, and I had tubes, and I was like, "What is that noise?" I was in so much pain. I probably said, "What is that freaking noise?" And she was like, "Oh my God, Miss Man, that's a helicopter with your liver and your surgery.
That's
You're gonna live. You're going to surgery tomorrow."
crazy. Every time I hear this story, I'm
You know,
so blown away. Like,
yeah, yeah. And so went to surgery the next day, and I think I spent maybe 2 more weeks in the hospital. And
so wait a minute. She says this to you. You're like, "What is this noise? I'm about to
I'm
die.
like,
Can
"What
I
is
just
this
die in
noise?"
silence?"
And she's like, "Mr.
And she's
Manuel,
like,
that's the helicopter with your liver and your surgery. You're gonna live." And I'm like talking to her like, I need to call my mom. I need to call. She said, "You can call whoever you want to, but you're going to surgery in the morning." And so,
"That's great.
yeah,
What were you thinking?"
at that point, when your body's shutting down, you're not really thinking. You're thinking so many crazy things. It's like, I think it's called ammonia or something like that that gets into your brain cells or whatever like that. So sometimes you're making sense and sometimes you're not. I was at that stage where it was kind of off and on. And I would fade off into these dreams and these crazy dreams like I'm on a plane and I'm looking at a theater playbill, but I'm sitting next to a giraffe. And then when I look deeper, that giraffe is in a zoo. It's almost like you're traveling through a journey of a
Sheesh. Oh my
mind twist,
gosh.
of a mind twist, because your body is filled with so many toxins, you can't think right. And so that's the stage I was in. And then when it started making sense, I remember going to surgeon and asked the doctor as it was rolling me down the hall, "Can we stop and pray?" And they was just like, "Okay, yeah, we can do that." And I was like, "We got to touch hands and agree." And my family was standing back there watching it, and they came to pray. Everybody prayed and that kind of thing. And so then everything comes back, and then you start realizing the impact of where you was, and how God steps in and say, "I'm not done with you yet. I got work for you to do." And I'm gonna tell you something. This is interesting. So after that happened, after I went home, I had this port in my chest because I had to go to dialysis for a while till everything kind of kicked back. And every time I took a shower, I had to put like a Ziploc bag over it, and I had to put tape around it to get in the shower. And I was like 150 pounds. And I
I mean,
remember,
you are a tiny
so
thing.
check this out. I had been in the house and I had asked, "I got to get out the house." And my wife was getting ready to go to Lennox Mall, her and my daughter. And I was like, "I want to go with y'all. I want to go with y'all." They're like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yes, I need to get out of this house." Went to Lennox Mall. I think we were in there for 10 minutes. They were walking kind of ahead of me because I had just learned how to walk again. So I was walking slow. And they turned around and I was just crying. I was just crying. And I just stood in the middle of the hall. And it was like, what's wrong? You sick? And I was like, no, I just ran into 10 people that know me and wouldn't speak to me because they didn't hardly recognize me. And the ones that did recognize me thought I probably had that package or something, you know.
You said that package.
That package. You know,
Throw it in the closet.
They thought something. They just didn't want to speak because they were like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say to him.
Right.
And I almost had a temper tantrum in the mall. I was like, take me home right now. I'm not ready.
Right.
And so, and I went back home and just started, you know, recuperating and praying and taking it easy and, you know, that kind of thing. And then I got back.
So real quick, David, I know we got to wrap up here, but I want to bring this home for, don't you, the family that donated,
right,
the family of the donor,
right,
you actually, there's a kind of a cool ending to the story too with them, right?
So in order for me to receive a liver transplant, that means somebody else had to die.
Right.
When you think about that, you think about you were saved to live, but somebody else had to die. If that's not motivation for you to take every day like the bull in charge, that is for me. And so now that family is my family. The sister of that brother, we're Facebook friends. And she says stuff like, hey, brother. I'm like, hey, sis. And
yeah, because you have a part of her brother inside of you.
And it's the most unlikely pair of people, me and her. You know, I'm black, she's white. I live in the city. She lives kind of in the country. In
she's a Republican. You're a Democrat.
Louisiana.
No, I'm just joking. I don't know.
I think we're both Democrats. So that's why the match happened so well. But yeah, we're family now. And you know, I called the mom on Mother's Day, and I went to see them. It was the longest hug I've ever had in my entire life because they felt like they were hugging their son and their brother.
Sheesh.
And they just wouldn't let me go, and I wouldn't let them go because it's the biggest thing when somebody, a stranger, can give you the gift of life. Just think what a family member would do or a friend. This is somebody who didn't know you.
Right.
They made a decision and they donated Dylan Mouton, who was a 21-year-old white male who had a seizure. And on the third day, which is already spiritual, he died. While he was dying, I was in Piedmont Hospital saying goodbye to my son. 6 people benefit from his organ. There's a man walking around alive now that is alive because he has Dylan heart. There's 2 other men that are walking around with a better life because they have both his kidneys. There's a man walking around that can see because he has Dylan eyes. There's a man walking around that can breathe and alive because he has his lungs. Wow. And then I have his liver.
David, let me ask you a question real quick. We do have to go. I hate this. If you're just tuning in, we got David Manuel. He's the director of FACE here in Fulton County and in Atlanta, or around Atlanta, Georgia. Why did God save you?
Wow. God.
That's a loaded question for me to tell you. Got 45 seconds, but
that is.
Why did He save you?
So I don't think the question is why He saved me. I think the question is, what am I doing because He saved me? And so what I try to do every day, if I don't get it right today, you best believe I'm gonna get it right tomorrow. I try to make sure that I give, and then when I get tired, I give some more. When I'm thinking and when I'm planning, I sleep with a laptop. I'm more motivated now like I was when I was 25. And I just want to continue to do good, continue to help people. I think that's the formula of longevity. I've always been a giver. And I think that at the end of the day, God is like, He's always been a giver. Let me see what He does now. And now I give like I'm on steroids. It's like, that's the formula for longevity.
So how can we, as people, because most people don't have your story and most people won't.
Right.
How do we find that type of motivation without having to go through your pain?
I wouldn't wish anybody to go through what I went through. But, you know, I've always been a spiritual person. And so I understand this thing called life is temporary. It's a gift. It's a gift. And when you get something, you need to protect it and cherish it and make the most of it. And so if I had to say something to anybody, it was like, don't rely on somebody else to encourage you. Encourage yourself. See how you can be good today and see how you can be better tomorrow. If you operate like that, you're going to make mistakes along the way, but your intentions are driven to goodness. I mean, and that's what we need to do. I'm in a position with a platform that I affect change in so many people's lives. I do it through art. I do it through education. I do it through organ donor awareness, whatever it takes. Uh, I'm here to make sure that whatever I do, I want to be like one of those parents who have a kindergarten graduating. What do? They get up and stand and applaud when they hear their name. My goal is I'm trying to get God to stand up and applaud for me. And until that happens, I'm going to keep doing more positive stuff, try to be more God-like. And when you see me and say hello to me, I'm not going to say I'm blessed and highly favored. You're not going to see my car and say bless one and that kind of thing. But if you spend 2 minutes with me, you're going to know that God is all in me. And everything that I do, I try to do that's pleasing to him.
Wow. Watch the walk, guys. Watch the walk.
Mm,
Whew. I said it when we started. I'm honored to know you. I really am.
thank
I
you.
mean, you really are an inspiration. You're a pain in the butt and a walking migraine. But outside of that, I really am glad
Thank
that
you for
you're
that
here.
compliment. Pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, thank you for all the work you're doing. I'm sorry that today got screwed up, but we will have you back. But I got to tell you,
It did get
it
screwed up.
happened exactly as it should
Yeah.
because uh, it happened exactly as it should. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much. How can we help you? How can people follow you, do business with the county, and support you? How do we make you look like a hero?
So first, to find out what I'm doing in the county, go to fultonarts.org or any of our Fulton public art pages on IG to follow me. And I just got hacked about a month ago, so it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's the real David Manuel. People are still sending it to the old one, but it's the real David Manuel, and Manuel is Manuel.
It's
Follow
not
me.
David Manuel, I am.
That used to be it. That got hacked,
That one got hacked? Well,
and it's
that's why I
still
tagged.
yeah, and it's still up. So you
I
tag
thought
one.
I am the real. I am was the one that got hacked.
No.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the one.
I said David Manuel. I am.
That got hacked.
Well, I thought you just said I am David Manuel.
The real David Manuel.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And for you and people similar to you, real REAL.
All right. Thank you,
But it's
David.
done in it.
Okay. All right. Listen, thank you so much, guys. Listen, I tell y'all at every show, even when we have to start as the Range Rover Chronicles and we finish as, according to Michelle, every day on this show, every show, you can walk out and figure out what can I do differently in my life right now. David said something that should inspire you to change right now. All you have to do is one thing different here on According to Michelle with Michelle Taylor Willis. My only goal is to make sure that you have something different to do when you finish listening to my guests. I am here every Wednesday from 4 to 6. Today's show was brought to us by Just J Ware. That's JAI. You can find her on Instagram at I am Just J or Just J Ware. She makes fitness apparel for women, and she says it feels like Lululemon and Nike, but it doesn't feel that way on your pocket. Make sure you check her out. I am Just J or Just J Ware, JAIWEAR on Instagram, and make sure you tell her that the MT Dub sent you every Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here on Really 1100 a.m. You catch the podcast every Monday by noon. It's up. I will be at the Taste of Sofu on July 14th in Union City. I'm very excited about that. And I got some other things coming up. I'm going in production for a TV show. Stay tuned. And I got 2 productions on stage coming at the end of the year. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll be there. But right now, I am out.
And who's gonna be on the cover of your magazine in September? Thank you. Thank you.
Just the points.
I don't
Thank
think
you
they're
guys
out.
for
They're not
tuning
out here,
in.
I think. So I think we're okay. I don't think
My
anybody
girl
else is out.
Michelle, she's a beast. She's a bother, but she's a beast. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the hearts. I have a meeting. I have to go meet with the commissioner.
Oh, he's waiting on you?
Signing off.
He's waiting on you? Did you tell him you're on my show? He'd be like, she had me on her show. I guess she hasn't.
Let me see. What time is it?
Bye, Facebook. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, it's 6.
Yeah.
I missed it. Let me see. And not this evening.
Hey guys, thank you for hanging in with us. We got a lot going on Instagram today. Instagram was crazy. Like those bracelets, thank you. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna get off now. Well, you've been on.
So what
forever.
you think? What you think?